The 2026 NEBA season is brought to you by Storm, Roto Grip, and 900 Global Bowling. We would like to recognize the additional sponsors who make these events possible. Tired of guessing how you're really performing on the lanes? Take control of your game with Tournament Sense, the ultimate companion for tournament bowlers. From tracking every frame to managing financials, it's time to stop playing and start dominating. Download Tournament Sense on the App Store or Google Play today. DJBT is a competitive tournament series built for youth bowlers, with adult participation on challenging sport patterns. A PBA junior affiliate and youth athletes can earn junior gold qualifying spots. KR Strikeforce. For those who have a choice, go with the most trusted name in bowling. KR Strikeforce. Cambridge Credit Counseling is your destination for debt relief services. Visit cambridgecredit.org to learn how they can help you with credit card debt, student loan repayment options, and mortgage relief services. NEBA's longest-running sponsor, Buddy's Pro Shop, offers high-quality professional services at the best prices in the industry delivered to your front door. Visit buddysproshop.com today. Bloomfield Electric, providing service, design, and installation since 1926. Jeff Barden and his staff offer fantastic bowling facilities at Yankee Lanes Keene and Yankee Lanes Manchester. Visit them on Facebook, Twitter, and their tournament Facebook page. Northeastern Bowling Championships. Ace Mitchell Bowlers. Mart is the largest bowling distributor in the world. Dexter, the #1 bowling shoe in the world. Staying ahead with innovative technology is how we build shoes for every style of bowling. Follow on Facebook and Instagram at Dexter Bowling. Better Bowling Concepts, specializing in customer service and providing customers the best ball motion possible. East Coast Sports Investors, your leading source of sports information, many styles of bowling. Keep styling on them. Turbo Grips, driven to bowl. For more information on products and services, you can visit turbogrips.com or visit your local pro shop today. Taking bowling and business and marketing their products and services in a modern way, Major Bowling offers quality services and coaching regardless of skill level. Here to help you look great while you enjoy the most participated sport in America. Discover unique bowling shirts and jerseys at iambowling.com and use code NEBA for 25% off. Better feel, better control, better performance. Jopo grips are changing the game with their easy twist system and unmatched consistency. Make the change today and feel the difference immediately. Jopo grips, trust it, love it, and just twist it. Located inside Norwich Bowling and Entertainment Center, Ideal Bowling Concepts is your one-stop shop for all your bowling needs. Leah Cars, the brand of cars for the bowling community. Bullwinkle's Pro Shop, Attack the Rack. We would also like to thank Tony and Suzanne Renaud. Island Bowling Supply, The House Bowling, Tech Vision, Northeast Megabucks, Grog Monster Sports, and Pinwheel.us. Thank you for tuning in. Now remember to like and share and enjoy the show.
All righty, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just now joining us, we're going to be talking with our winner of the 2026 KR Strikeforce Non-Champions event, Donie Corneau. So we're going to be bringing him in here in just a second. Obviously, I just want to make sure the audio is working. It plagues me everywhere I go, whether I'm doing this stream, 10 other streams, do everything exactly the same. Sometimes the audio is just like, no. So if you are watching, feel free to comment in there whether or not you can hear me, and then we'll move forward. So anywho, so we had the 2026 KR Strikeforce Non-Champions event. We were at Bowl Arrow Worcester. If you are already familiar, that was a dual event weekend. We had started out that weekend with the Jopo Special Cuts event, where we are going to be interviewing our winner of that tomorrow. So be sure to tune in for that one as well. But we're here to talk today about the 2026 KR Strikeforce Non-Champs Champion. Donie Corneau, he put on an absolute clinic from all the way, obviously, in qualifying, made his way through, but I got to watch a lot of match play, and my man was running him over from start to finish. So it was really cool to see. The pattern that you're looking at, the 2025 Youth Open Championships pattern, is what they competed on. And it had a variability in a lot of the scores. We had Josh Nyman, who ended up leading the overall qualifying. I believe he qualified off the Saturday night squad at just a little over 200 over, I think like 208 over or so. Had a 300 in there. We had another 300 by Matt Koss earlier that day as well. So there was definitely a lot of striking potentially, but there was just as equal a chance if you weren't quite lined up that it was going to shoot you in the foot and make you shoot 150, which obviously in a higher scoring event, you got to avoid those. So, and Donie did that to an absolute T. Obviously, we do want to thank the folks again at Bolero Worcester for not only hosting the event, but just making sure everything ran really smooth for us. The staff did great there. And then on top of that, making sure we thank KR Strikeforce again. KR has been a long-standing partner with NEBA, so huge shout out to them. Those guys make fantastic products, as most of you probably know. Many people even are big fans of their shoes. So if you had a chance to throw some KR Strikeforce shoes on there, big fan. It was our 1060th NEBA event. So just like I said, just tacking them on there. A lot of fun going to each one of these events. I've been a part of probably about 100 or so now. And I'm a fan each and every time. Maybe not a fan of my bowling, but always fan of the competition and NEBA at large. So if you're interested in joining a NEBA event or trying your luck out, we are going to be running another one right here. You can't see it because I have it blacked out behind me, but at Nutmeg Bowl. It's going to be this weekend with the Buddies Pro Shop Open Singles event. So come on out tomorrow. 6 p.m. is the first day, our first squad on Saturday. And then Sunday, we're going to have obviously the 9 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. squads. We're going to be on something a little longer, 46 feet, all that good stuff. Check it out, bowlneba.com. Obviously, if you're on our Facebook page, you can go and see more details there. Having said that, we're going to bring up our match for today, and I would like to pause that before we get too far into it, as we're about to see Justin Veal throw in an atomic log. But let's bring in our man of the hour, ladies and gentlemen, Donie Corneau. Donie, welcome.
Hey.
So, Donie, just real quick,
I can't hear you, dude.
How long do you think that you've been bowling NEBA events? Oh, Donie, just real quick,
I can't hear you, dude.
How long do you think that you've been bowling NEBA events?
Jesse, can you hear me? Because I can't hear you.
You cannot hear me.
I can't hear you, dude.
How long do you think that you've been bowling NEBA events?
Can you hear me?
The folks at the NEBA, they say that we can.
No.
So
I can hear you on the. I had to turn on the stream on my phone, but I can't hear you on my stream right now.
Interesting. So let's. Haven't had that one happen before.
I had to turn on the stream on my phone, but I can't hear you on my stream right now.
Interesting. So haven't had that one happen before. Well, I guess we'll play with a delay. Like I said, I think we were talking back and forth before the stream started. It worked out okay. So it's interesting that we're having some audio issues there. Different kind of audio issue though. At least there is some volume somewhere. Maybe I'll try to take you.
Okay, so it's interesting that we're having some audio issues there. Different kind of audio issue though. At least there is.
Let me see if I can do something else here. Hold on 1 second.
Bear with us, folks. We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna have a nice show here for you guys.
Dude, I lost you completely.
Really? Hello. Yeah.
I don't know what's going on here.
Let's see if I can pull this up on the screen.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna try something else real quick.
Yeah.
Sorry, dude. I literally can't hear anything on you now. Let's try this.
Oh, Brian Gaskill, fantastic game of bowler. Congratulating you there in the comments. We definitely got to figure out the audio part of this because, like I said, we can hear it. So.
Try this again. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Dude, I don't know what's happening. I literally can't hear you at all now.
Interesting. And the volume on your device is turned up, right? It's phone call volume. I know that sounds silly.
This is weird. That's odd. I don't know what's going on.
Interesting. Any luck here, Donie?
Jesse, I can't hear you at all right now. I got nothing. Nothing. I can see you talking, but I can't hear you at all.
All right. The folks back home, can you hear us?
Show here for you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, the folks can still hear us. So yeah, I'm equally confused. So we'll I'm gonna kick you off the stage. We'll invite you back in. We'll get this figured out. Ladies and gentlemen, bear with us. I'm gonna go ahead and communicate through Donie, and apparently we can't. He can't hear me. We can hear everything else, but we couldn't have Donie not hearing me. So let's see if we can try to get him to enter into the room again. And see if it'll work this time. Very confusing. Him and I had actually chatted for a few minutes prior to this. So what are you gonna do? If it wasn't one audio issue, it was gonna be another. But yeah, so as Donie and I are figuring things out, we have a wonderful weekend that's going to be planned here at Nutmeg. And feel free to leave room in your stomachs for breakfast or even lunch, as the folks here at the Best Food Fast brand, they are going to be taking care of us that day. So head on down to there if you do decide to come in, especially for breakfast or even the 6 p.m. squad. You guys can grab some dinner while you guys are here. They got great food. So we're going to try to get Donie back in. Bear with us for sure. Communicating with him via text as we speak. So he said he's going to work on getting another setup going on here. But yeah, so like I said, our next event this weekend, 25th and 26th, BuddySportShop.com open singles event. I'm a big fan of that one, obviously, because it's our home center, but I just love everybody being able to come here to where Buddy's is. And then obviously I'm always a stickler for trying to make every cut, but this one is always going to mean something a little bit more just because we're in the logo. So, however, if you did have a chance to compete at the non-champions event in Worcester, feel free to throw in the comments how you felt you attacked the pattern and how it treated you, or even if you competed at the Joe Post Special Cuts event. Just let us know how you thought everything ran. I mean, I felt like for the most part, we didn't have too many issues in terms of pin setter issues. So that's always a bonus as we're going to try to get Donie back up on here.
Are we good
Donie,
now?
any luck?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Fantastic. That's what we're looking for. Donie, I promise it's not you. Audio issues plague me everywhere I go, as I said beforehand. So as long as we don't lose you in the mix, I think we're going to be okay. All right.
Yeah, I had to move my phone. I was on my iPad, and so I just got away from that. Tried on the phone.
Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy how the system works. So, anywho,
right.
Now that we have you on here, just give us a rundown real quick. How long have you been bowling NEBA events?
I've been bowling NEBA since I was probably 21, 22 years old, I want to say. That was my very first event.
Okay.
So I'm 45 now. So
would you consider yourself a regular competitor at NEBA, or were you somebody who took off a little bit of time and then trying to come back?
Yeah, well, I bowled pretty consistently for a little while. I did move back and forth from Virginia to Rhode Island, Massachusetts a lot, so that kind of hindered me from bowling. When I came back, my last trip from Virginia, I've been home here for about, I want to say about 16 years now. And I tried to bowl a little more consistently, but I haven't done that over the past few years or so because, life, bought a house, things like that. So
I hear you. Yeah. So, what did it mean to you to finally be able to hold an NEBA title and call yourself a NEBA champion?
Well, I honestly never thought it was going to happen, man. Like all those years that I bowled, I came close. I finished second before with John Van Hees in the doubles back in East Providence a long time ago. And then I also finished second with Bobby DiMuccio and Billy Tester in the trios in East Providence before.
So knocking on the door a lot.
Yeah. Never in singles, though. I came close. I think I had a couple top fours, but that was the best I ever got. And my time slowing down bowling these tournaments now, I figured that, that time was never going to come. And oddly enough, now the few that I have bowled over the last year or so, here we are.
Yeah, absolutely. And you had one heck of a match and even one heck of a string leading up to that. And just to kind of run folks back through the bracket a little bit here, I mean, as far as scoring is concerned, I mean, you were popping off 250s. I think you averaged, I think you shot like 760 the last three or so, somewhere in that ballpark. But you absolutely crushed them for the last 3 games leading up into that. Walk us through qualifying a little bit because we didn't really get to see too much of that. A similar look, or were you just kind of grinding through to make it happen?
qualifying was kind of a catastrophe for me to start the evening on Saturday. The first two games, my mechanics were horrible. I couldn't target anything. I was lucky to get through those two games where I was able to punch in the 10th and get the plus 19. And then things started to click going into game three. I shot 230 a couple times. And then I believe the last game I shot 210, getting to 100 over. Thinking I'm good. Then as I'm going to turn my scores in, I see two other guys jump me by a couple pins.
Yeah.
Put me being the first guy out.
Sure. Yeah.
So going into that, like, I didn't think I was going to make the cut. I was watching the scores the next day. I went with my buddy to bowl the Eastern Connecticut local association tournament just to kind of keep my mind off of it. Bowling didn't go much better over there either. So I was like, all right, I'm like, maybe this wasn't such a good idea. Time goes on watching the scores. And usually when you bowl Saturday night, and you're the first guy out on I don't want to say it was an easy pattern, but it seemed like it was going to be a higher scoring pattern.
Sure.
So watching through the first three games of qualifying on Sunday morning, I thought for sure I was going to be out. The numbers were pretty high after three games. And then all of a sudden the scoring pace just slowed right down.
Yeah. And it's funny. The thing about softer patterns is not all the time do they stay soft. I mean, if they start a little on the softer side, they typically get a little more over-undery and forcing people into some uncomfortable situations. So I'm right there with you. I definitely saw the scores from the first night, and I was like, oh, man, the cut score tomorrow is probably going to be 200 over by itself or something silly like that. And then it did even out quite a bit. So
Right.
luckily there. But, yeah, so you were able to jump right in. Not only did you jump in, but you had a first-round bye, too.
Yeah. It ended up working out a lot better than I thought. I knew I had to come back. Luckily, I only live a half hour from the place now and moved to Connecticut, like I said, in August. So I was like, all right, we'll take a trip back and we'll see where we're at. Second squad was rolling through. Things are still looking good. Like I said, I ended up getting a one-round bye, which is very helpful. When I was on the practice pairs, I didn't throw the same ball that I was throwing the day before because they seemed a little tighter after the re-oil. So I was throwing an RST hyperdrive, and it looked okay over there. And then I got to my first match, and it was hitting the pins, but it wasn't knocking 10 down.
Gotcha.
So I was just getting nine. All I tried doing was spare, keep up with the guy that I was bowling against. I forget exactly his name.
Match one was Frank Bouchard.
Bouchard, that's right. Yep. So I ended up getting up in the 10th frame, and I needed 3 to lock him out, and I stuffed the second one. It really shut him down, and then I threw the fill ball in the 10th, and
yeah, you only got him by 11 sticks there, so definitely a pretty tight match overall.
Yeah, that was close. So squeaked through that one, moved on to the second match against Josh Palro, and the night before I was throwing my phase 2. So I was like, I did scuff that on the practice pair over there, kind of got it ready. Went back to that. Just see what happens. That was a great idea. Started out that game. I believe I went spare, 4-bagger spare. Carry didn't really get much better from there. I only ended up squeaking out 216 to his 211, I believe.
There's another very, very tight one, especially with him, man. I mean, he had a little bit more area overall left to right, but his ball is hitting very, very hard. So when he did get I think he had a split there in the middle of the game or something like that. And I feel like that was a big open window there for you to kind of be able to take advantage of.
Yeah, absolutely. So I took advantage of that, squeaked through that one. But then I felt pretty good with where I was at with ball reaction wise. So I got a little more comfortable moving my feet around, So I moved a couple boards right, two with my feet, one with my eyes, try to get the ball started up a little better. That was a great move. I really didn't move a whole lot from there. The left lane, every pair that I was on for some reason was a little tighter. So I couldn't get the ball to really hit the pocket the way I wanted to. But I didn't want to make any big moves and cost myself, in those situations. I bowled against Tyler, and he just came off a 278 the game before that. So
and he's got a pretty solid game too, and you crushed him.
Yeah, he came out slinging at first. I'm pretty sure he threw the front 5 at me first.
Yeah.
And all I could try to do was hang with him. I was thinking just keep the pressure on him and hope he missed, and ended up working out that way. He gave me the opportunity, and I shot, I believe, 257 that game.
Yes.
And got by that one. The match against Brandon Whitney wasn't too bad either. That one started out pretty tough too.
Sure.
That eased off in the back a little bit. I believe I shot 243 that game. He shot 210. But
yeah, it looks like it was. Let's see if we had the actual match. It was 243 to 216 there. So he's another one where his ball was definitely, when it got to the right place, it was absolutely running the pins over. And he's got a release that, at very least is going to make you be like, oh man, he's going to strike a lot. Doesn't always work out that way, but yeah. So I could definitely see you stepping up into a semifinal match and be like, man, I got to put the gas on this kid, especially while you still haven't looked the way you did. So, and you did exactly that. So it's no surprise there.
Yeah, and in the process of watching this, honestly, I'm watching Justin Veal, just knock everything down.
And he shot 299 at one point, and that was off of a ball change. He went for a ball change for his previous match. I think he was throwing a purple hammer, jumped into I believe a hammerhead pearl, and then I think that's what he threw against you in that match. So, and he jumped back on that same pair I watched him. I think he was on the same pair I watched him shoot 299 on, and I was like, man, this is going to be trouble. Or maybe it was the pair to the right. Either way, but yeah, if anything, you both set up for a very high scoring match, at very least from what we were seeing from our eyes, and it turned out to be that way. I mean, kind of jumping into your match here, we'll just go ahead and hit the play button. Hopefully it's not too loud for the background. Especially I seen Justin throw that first absolute log, and I was like, oh my goodness, what is about to happen on this pair? So walk me through that as far as stepping up into a championship match, knowing obviously non-champ. Is this the point where you finally break through? Or do you have to face a competitor that is known for striking? So, walk us through those little first moments as you're stepping up here. That's first shot.
Yeah, I mean, after watching him shoot 299, it was in my head, okay, like, what's he going to do? And then he got up and just the first shot and stuffed it. And I'm like, oh, boy, I got my hands full.
Yeah.
So same mindset, like, obviously, he had way better ball reaction than me. Obviously, I just knocked more pins down than him that game. But he come out slinging the first 6 at me. And I had the same mindset. I'm like, all right, I struck that first ball, and the second ball, that's when I got 7, left the 3-6-10.
Yeah.
And I threw it terrible, so I deserved everything I got there. So I'm like, all right, already put myself back, make the spare, try to keep up with him. He throws
and you
the
did
next
exactly
4.
that. You went spare, and then I think you had the next 4 as well before I ended up leaving another 3-6-10, which I even have to step back off of that as we're about to watch you do that exact thing. The fact that, you're in a high pressure situation, a lot of strikes being thrown, you leave a 3-6-10. That's not anyone's favorite spare to shoot at. No. Obviously, makeable, but it's like just as easy to chop, just as easy for it to go wrong, that type of thing. So, congrats to you. Hats off to you for being able to just step up and clear both of those. One a little unconventionally, but that's like my favorite way to knock it over.
The second one, I definitely got lucky on. I pulled that a little bit. My lack of bowling definitely was a fear of mine going in because I don't have all the games under my belt. I don't bowl league anymore at the moment. So Same. This is just something that I felt like I was a little under the gun compared to the other guys that were out there.
Sure. And if anything, not that maybe you don't necessarily know this. I know I had spoke with Justin at one point a little earlier in the year, and he's in the same boat. He's had a lot of work-related things that keep him away from bowling. So to have both of you guys in a championship match was actually pretty cool from my perspective to see that. So some folks finally being able to get back in the competition a little bit, and then here they are, in their moment, that type of thing. So very cool for that. The championship match, you're still throwing a phase 2 the whole time, right?
Yes, I stuck with that. Like I said, equipment wise, I'm not really too familiar with what my balls do. I've drilled some new things, but the lack of bowling, it's one of those things where, am I going to pull the wrong ball out, and cost myself? Where I know my phase 2, I've had that for quite some time. I knew that ball was an old faithful to me, knew it was going to do.
That's everybody's old faithful, really.
Yeah. So I did change the night before. I tried my phase 2 pro when I thought I was seeing something, and that was just a bad idea. So I didn't want to get myself back in that situation. So I figured I'd just try to line up with that ball. I was tickling them down. So I figured might as well just try to keep it there. And sometimes light carry is better than stuffed.
Absolutely. And I think that was, if anything, the thing that gave you a little bit of an advantage. Obviously, Justin did run the front 6 there, did have a little bit of a break there that we seen in that second frame crossing over. I think he even tripped the 6-pin forward, if I remember right.
Yeah.
Because it did block it out a little bit. But the fact that you kept composure on, and actually, I think, if anything, your shot making got a little bit better with the exception of that next 3-6-10 that we saw. Everything else was pretty straightforward. I mean, everything looked really, really good there. Like you said, keeping them low, really just letting the pins take care of it all, and not stuffing them. So, I mean, I don't know. I thought everything about your match, especially as I went back and rewatched it to cut the video. I mean, everything looked great on your end. It looked like you were in championship form, and I think you were ready to take a title. So it was very cool that you were able to.
Yeah, and it ended up working out. The arm swing decided to start working. Actually, I was speaking to John Kirker over at Norwich when I was over there bowling the local tournament.
Sure.
He was telling me, because I was worried. I was like, dude, I've been throwing it bad. I've like, this is before I even find out I make the cut. He's like, well, sometimes he said you go back and the arm swing just starts getting better. and that's pretty much what happened.
That's very true. And if anything, you start going a little bit more on autopilot, especially in this type of situation. I mean, I remember, I can recall not too long ago when I was in my match, the fact that it was just like, step up, I threw a shot. I knew I had a good line, and all the execution was just letting itself happen. If you just get out of your own way, you end up winning an event. So you could really see it there. I mean, you're especially on the right lane. Your phase 2 started looking really, really good, like running the 8-pin over it on some of those shots. So
my ball reaction on the right lane was phenomenal. I was very happy with that. If I could have got there on the left lane, that would have been, obviously ideal. But that wasn't happening at the moment. So
sure. Now, had you bowled all the Nebas this year, or is this just kind of first one that you were able to get back into?
No, that was actually the first one. I did plan on bowling a lot more of them this year, but then Callahan's got canceled because of the snowstorm, the first one, and I never actually got back in the swing of things. The reason why I did end up bowling is my buddy Ed was talking about bowling the non-champs, and he doesn't bowl a lot anymore. And I was like, hey, if you go bowl, I'll go cross with you, and not knowing the fact that that's not how it works this year, because like I said, I'm not up to it. But we did end up getting the bowl together, so that ended up working out. But I wouldn't even have been there if I didn't try talking him into bowl.
Man, that is funny how that type of thing works out. You're like, yeah, if you go, I'll go, and then you end up being the one that takes the whole thing. Man, that's something else. So very cool for that part too.
Yeah, stars align for this one.
So I imagine you win one, you got to have more on the schedule. Are you planning on jumping in for this weekend?
Yeah, I did. I signed up. I figured it was kind of a have to,
Sure, yeah, and it's, especially if you have a chance to go back to backs, that's its own reward too. So that's very very cool. But at very least, anytime you make a cut at NEBA, I feel like it's a good pat on the back to give yourself making it into match play. And then if you make it even past one match, it's like good job. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and in the past, being a nutmeg, I have bowled well there in the past when I bowled. So I've made a few cuts there. Of the few tournaments that I have bowled there. So I figured out might as well go back and see what happens.
Sure. Do you have any outside of NEBA? Do you have any sport shot experience? You bowl like sport shot leagues, or you bowl regionals, or anything like that?
I used to bowl like sport leagues and stuff, and I did when I bowled in Rhode Island. They had the Rhode Island Masters before.
Sure.
I did win that before too, so that was all in sport patterns and stuff. So I do know how to bowl. My mental game is there. The physical game just isn't there because I don't have the repetition.
I hear you. All right, so let's see here. We're at our halfway point through the match. Justin Veal still has not stopped striking, but you also haven't stopped responding, which I think is probably the most important part. And if anything speaks back to your mental game, do you have a certain mental thought process when you're running through situations like this, or is it just kind of grabbing and going through the motions and everything just kind of fills out that way?
Yeah, well, before I used to think about things too much, and I felt like I cost myself at this tournament. I had an eerie calm about myself being out there. Like it was almost like a seize the moment kind of thing. Like you've always wanted to get here. So now let's do it.
It's kind of how people talk about flow state. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that term, but it's just the act of just going in and you're like a out of body experience almost. Everything is just happening in front of you, and it's just doing it, and it's such a weird feeling. It's not necessarily nerves, but it's just it's something. It's like just riding the wave all the way through it. I feel like that's the only way to explain it.
Definitely a good way to put it.
Let's see here.
I was very calm. Like most of the time when I bowl stuff like that, especially being in this situation, I feel like normally I would have been like, nervy, not being there, so often and also not bowling as much as I used to. I even told my wife when I was bowling, I was like, this is different. Like something's telling me this is going to work out,
That's actually a very cool feeling. So leading up to the event, so when did you decide for sure? Obviously you mentioned that you're talking your buddy into it. Was it like the day before you're like, all right, yeah, let's go bowl NEBA, or was it like a week out or something like that?
Probably about a week or so out.
I don't know if I've had several conversations with some folks. The most recent was Jay Johnson in his last interview. So I remember talking with Jay throughout the event, and there were several times, and Jay's not a cocky person by any means, as you're aware. But there were several times throughout the event that he mentioned that when he wins, not if he wins. And it was like multiple times we had that. And then he ended up coming up in clutch. And I recalled that type of thing as well. Was there any point leading throughout match play or qualifying that you thought like, I got a real shot at winning this. I'm going to go through and win. Or is it like you just kind of play the cards and see what ends up falling?
Yeah. Well, after the first two matches, is like once I got to that third match and I shot 257, I felt comfortable.
Sure.
Like I had good ball reaction. Everything seemed like it was going well, and I felt like if I could keep that momentum going, then I could get myself to the finals.
That's such a huge player, even into the mental game itself, is when you have that breakthrough and you end up bowling well, how much it's going to loosen up your swing to continue to bowl well. Even if the conditions weren't necessarily, they could have been easier, harder, whatever. It's your mind doesn't even see it that way anymore. It sees it just as competing, which I think is a funny thing that ends up happening, especially when you break through a little bit. So
Yeah.
all right, let's see here. So your first NEBA title. I had a question on my mind there. Hold on. But bear with me. So, had you ever, prior to your first NEBA title, had any aspirations to do something more with bowling, or is NEBA kind of like your large competitive field?
I've always wanted to like compete in like a regional or something like that, but like just the time and honestly, I just felt like I wasn't ready to go
Sure.
out. Which I think it's more of a mental thing.
Mm.
Physically, I've been told by a lot of people, hey, you should be out there doing this. Like I grew up with John Van Hees, bowling a lot. So him and I were hand in hand for I can't even tell you for how many years. So watching him go through the motions of what he did, obviously, it does make me want to do that stuff. But on the other side of it, it's the time, the money, the things
The
going on.
travel. it's not
Yeah.
the same as NEBA. You better hope one comes to EP, and that's as good as it gets.
Yeah, and that's actually my goal. Like, because EP has had the ones that they've been doing the last few years.
Sure.
Um, I would like to try to do it this year if possible. I've also said that the last couple of years and haven't, just because of the obligations and things like that.
Now, we just missed it a little bit, but Justin Veal actually just split the shot before this, and then it was a little hard to see because the camera set up. But you stepped up, you posted one on the right lane to take the lead.
Yep.
What does it feel like to step up and do it when it's needed, just at least on the right lane here?
I mean, that was a big shot for me. Knowing the fact that the door was open a little bit,
Mm.
I was really in my head about, all right, just throw a good shot and see what happens because that lane was good to me anyway. So I was pretty confident with what was going to happen if I could throw it good.
Sure.
And then I
And
did
then
that on the left lane.
yeah, I was gonna say we talked about it a little bit on that 3-6-10 there. And if anything, that comes back to a little bit more of the pressure side of the situation here, probably pulling you out of it. You got a lot of nerves, a lot of adrenaline probably rushing after that hit there to take advantage of it. So did a little bit of that play into it, or was it just the
A
errant
little
shot
bit,
throw it away?
a little bit, and then I'm in my own head about, all right, I got to throw another one, and then I do that, and then I get up and I shot the spare, and man, I'm lucky I made that.
And it was nice to you, but I tell you what, and I think if I shoot the 3-6-10, it's like a third of the time that I make it. That's how I make it. So definitely relatable. Shooting that 3-6-10, I think is a monster here. So now, if it's me watching Justin bowl this entire game, I'm not expecting for him to do what he steps up and does in this next shot.
No, I
And that is
wasn't at
just not
all.
continue to strike. I mean, you figure he threw the front six. I assume that my man was going to go the
He's gonna get
open
right
and in
back
the
on it.
back. Was there any type of relief here in this? I believe it's literally this next shot where he doesn't quite get it to go, and I think he's 6'10" or something in that ballpark. Yeah. So
Yeah,
he's
absolutely.
6'10". Yeah,
Absolutely. It was a surprise, but also a relief at the same time. And I believe I can't see the score up here, but I believe I'm going into the ninth and 10th here. Um, and I'm just telling myself, okay, now's your chance. Go close the door on him.
sure. And like you said, especially after seeing his second frame was a similar shot on that right lane, and he got the runaway Brooklyn there. And I
Yeah.
feel like, and this is just me talking, I feel like anytime I'm in a situation where my opponent needs it and they miss far enough left, they're missing far enough left, and it's going to strike. So I was nervous for you there in that situation. Obviously, no ties to either one of you guys as far as who I wanted to win. I just wanted to in the moment, I guess. There,
Yeah.
do you when you see those types of breaks, what do you think of? That run like a runaway Brooklyn in the second. There is it early enough that it's like it's not a big deal. If it ends up happening, but especially when you have something that ends up happening late, it's like how much air
Yeah.
does
I
it take
mean,
out of you, or are you just still worried about yourself versus the lane?
yeah. I mean, being that early, it was not a lot of thought on it. Yeah. It stinks to look at. I've been on the other side of it though and done it to
Sure.
somebody else. So it's one of those things. I try not to hate. Everybody throws bad shots. it's what happens. I just tried to stay with them.
Sure.
And you keep the pressure on them. That's all I could do is just both those matches that I was between the third game and the championship match when I was down early, was just try to keep my foot on the gas and try to keep pressure on these guys, and hopefully they cracked.
Especially some of the younger guys. I mean, they are tough, and it's funny, guys like you, but as well as some of these other dudes who are still non-champions, and you think, how? I mean, maybe for me, Justin falls into that category too. I'm
Absolutely.
not sure if that is about you, but there's probably a dozen other non-champions that you're sitting there looking at, and like, how do you not have a title? You throw it so amazing, your ball hits so hard, and feel like you're always in the hunt, that type of thing. So that's what I feel like speaks to the format of NEBA and just in general. I mean, you could be, I feel like, a high level professional and step up with us, and it's not a guarantee for them to make it all the way to the finals. I mean, with this bracket format, is that something that you also take away?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different ways to get there. Like if it's not just it's your score, it's who you bowl.
Sure.
I could tell you one of the top fours I had was back in East Providence, and I bowled against Dave Kipperman, and I shot 280, and he tied me, and I lost in a roll off.
Sure.
So, but then on the
You're
other
looking
side
over
of it,
at Joe Blow, who shot 205 and snuck through by 40. So
yeah, exactly. It's all the luck
Come
luck
on.
of the draw.
But I think that is one of the main things that does keep NEPA pretty strong, and if anything keeps it competitive, is the fact that not everybody's going to be winning the same every week, unless you're Aaron Major, you're finding a way to keep yourself in contention all the time. But yeah, so hats off to anybody who obviously is able to win a championship like yourself, especially this past weekend. But anybody who's able to constantly keep themselves into the bracket. I mean, just making the cuts alone is super difficult. So yeah, hats off to anybody who's able to do that consistently, like some of these guys can. So. We're stepping up into your final moments here. At this point, you struck in the 9th. Really, I think you only needed the first one in the 10th, and it was going to be a sealed deal, or very least 9 spare. I think that was it. So,
Yep.
Is this just a victory lap for you? Do you know at this point? Are you score watching to this point where it says, all I need to do is throw the first one, or is it like, what is it for you?
I knew I needed the 9th, and at that point, that was a bigger hit for me than what was coming up here. But I still wanted to throw a good shot.
Sure.
A strike was way more, solidified than, shooting a 9 spare.
And this one right here, that's the one I did it. When I seen that 7-pin fall, I was pumped for you. I was like, that's the one that locked it away. So it was a super cool moment there. Hard to get the leaner 7 hit, by the way. I mean, I don't know if you're familiar with it a nutmeg. I feel like every day I bowl here, it ends up being that way. I leave a ton of 7s.
Yeah,
so the fact that you got the leaner 7
I'm right there with you, bro.
Huge.
I'm right there with you. I can't tell you how many 7s I leave.
Sure. Yeah. So as we're wrapping up here with your last couple shots here, do you have any messages for the fans or anything you want to say? Anybody you wanted to shout out?
I mean, there's thanks to everybody that reached out. Yeah, text, phone calls, messages. Chris Monroy, dude. Chris Monroy, he was my coach when I was a kid in juniors back in Lincoln Lanes. I never made a cut in this building until this weekend. All right. And
wow.
I practiced here when I was a kid because Monroy used to be in the pro shop there. So this building is very familiar to me, and it just has not been that nice to me. So very awesome to have those two, come to fruition in the long run.
That's something. I didn't know you never made a cut in this building before. Now the only one that you did make you win. That's sick.
Right. So, I mean, Chris Monroy, thanks for getting me involved in this, taking me under his wing back in the day when I was, I would say I was like 18 years old when I started throwing bowling balls. John Van Hees, grew up bowling with him. Kid taught me a lot, gave me a lot of bowling balls when he was on Brunswick staff after, his hand-me-downs were my new balls. So all that practicing we did, the Alex at the pro shop, I worked with them for many years. All that comes up and, to bring me to where I'm at now. So it's, thanks to everybody at NEBA that runs it. You, obviously everybody else. My brain's farting right now. Justin, and every other person.
Danny, Debbie,
everybody,
all those guys for sure. And then the billion people behind the scenes that we don't get to see every day that do exist. So
yeah, man. Cool. Yeah, before the NEBA, we wouldn't have all this competitive stuff to bowl around here.
I agree.
I lived down south for a little while, and let me tell you, there's nothing like NEBA around there. You're lucky.
There isn't, and I lived out in the Midwest. I lived out in the Midwest for a little bit of time. I lived even in closer to like the Delaware, Pennsylvania area. I lived there. There is nothing like NEBA that's around at all. So if you're watching this, or if you're a competitor at NEBA and you have some grievances, ladies and gentlemen, this is as good as it gets. I promise. So. Yeah, so super thankful also on my end for being able to have an organization like NEBA. So I feel like we all take it for granted from time to time, and so it's really really cool to be able to have something to bowl every month on.
There's all levels of competitors at this tournament. It's crazy.
Yeah, and the amount of talent I feel like we have here. I once again I bowled. I feel like at every level, and the talent that's at NEBA is still as good as it gets, as far as I'm concerned, especially in the amateur bowling world. Is as good as it gets. So yeah. Having said that, I appreciate you coming on tonight. I'm gonna go ahead and get things wrapped up. But
thanks for having me.
2026 KR Strikeforce champion. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, I'm going to go ahead and get this popped up here. Once again, you just watched the 2026 KR Strikeforce live interview of our champion, Donie Corneau. So shout out to Donie for winning his first title. We all know what that means, and we all know what it means to us to win our first title if you end up getting to that point. If you're interested in trying to get yourself a NEBA championship, come on out to Nutmeg Bowl this weekend. We got another NEBA event scheduled, the Buddies Pro Shop Open Singles event. It's going to be Saturday and Sunday. All the event details are available at bowlneba.com, as well as you can check out a little bit more on our Facebook page, where we also have a $1,250 special youth prize fund. So if you're a youth bowler and you want to come out and get some scholarship thrown into your account, there is a prize fund set aside just for you that no one else is competing in except for the youth bowlers. So if you're parents and you're looking at your kids' college education, feel free to get them signed up as well for a chance to win a little extra money to put in their piggy bank for the future. And then obviously we want to get everybody out for just the more people we have, the better the competition is, the more fun we all have. So please feel free to come on out. We want to get you guys pre-registered. If not, you can walk in the door and we're going to have some fun for that part of it too. We'd like to thank you all for watching. Feel free to tune in again tomorrow when we bring on the champion of the Jopo Grips Special Cuts event, Greg Flamond, NEBA Hall of Famer as well. We're going to get to chat with him a little bit. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good night.
Thank you for tuning in to our live coverage of today's event. We'd like to thank all of our sponsors and members for their continued support of NEBA. We couldn't continue to offer some of the best competitive events in the country without you. Your commitment to the sport makes all of this possible. We encourage you to support the businesses that support NEBA. When you support our sponsors, you're directly supporting NEBA and the future of competitive bowling. Be sure to check out The House Bowling and receive 15% off all merchandise by using promo code NEBA at checkout. You can also shop I Am Bowling, powered by Logo Infusion, and save 25% off your order with promo code NEBA. Thank you again for being part of our community.